for coming. I didn't really anticipate it being quite like this, but I should. It's Bainbridge Island in the fall. We're going to abbreviate it for that reason, however. And I'd like to say first that what you witnessed today beyond that door, the effort that it took was extraordinary, but the accomplishment of a few people is extraordinary, really is. That all started in over a decade ago, and this is the pinnacle of that success. Abbreviating my other speech. The island and the museum is beginning to mirror that it's a place where people are drawn to, have been drawn to. Almost, if you go in, you'll see it's a timeline history. People have been drawn here for most of its history. It's still a small town. It has been for a long time, but it's still vital. It still has reasons for people to be drawn here, unlike many small towns in America, some of them which I grew up in. But we have, I'm going to finish with, we have more dreams here to fulfill, and with all of your support, we will be on with it. It will take us decades to really do what we really think we do here well. This museum, I think you'll find, I've seen quite a few of them as an observer, I think you'll find it extraordinary for a community our size. And it's all based on, it all came from one thing, caring and passion of the community. And the few that really had the idea of moving down here first, but the exhibits in here are really the final glory of that. So with this, I would like to introduce Teresa Cosgrove, our director, fearless leader. I'm the fearful leader, she's the fearless leader. And she's going to do the introductions.
And again, welcome all of you, and this is just such an honor to be able to complete this part of our project, which really began in 2005, where we got the Heritage Grant, as we abbreviate it. It was from the Heritage Resource Center in Olympia. Gary Shalio is here. Oh, sorry, and okay. But that allowed us to do a couple different things. It allowed us to put really professional storage, archival storage in our basement area, which is under the school. It allowed us to renovate the schoolhouse, which meant taking off the homosote tile, which was used as soundproofing when it was a band annex at the high school years ago. And then the third phase was to buy some electronic equipment and put the electronic gizmos into the old exhibits. But at that point, the staff and I were talking it over at staff meetings, and I think it was Rick, our facilities manager, said, why don't we just apply for more grants and try and build all new exhibits? So with help of the Peach Foundation, the Joshua Green Foundation, and also the Bainbridge Community Foundation, we were able to build all new exhibits. And part of that money went to hiring a professional museum exhibit designer, Andrew Whiteman. And I saw him somewhere, I'm not sure where he is now, but he's the senior curator at the Burke Museum. So his vision allowed us to put a real professional touch into our exhibits. And so what I also want to do is recognize the staff, and I know the staff are out in the audience and they don't probably have a chance to come up to get these, but these are all certificates, and they go to Lorraine Scott, our curator, who she was the one that created all the exhibits, researched and wrote the labels and chose the artifacts and photographs and put in many hours of labor. And Joan Piper is our educational coordinator, but what she did is she held a whole bunch of public meetings to ask the public what they want in the new exhibits. And then out of that input came a huge interpretive plan. And then Andrew Whiteman was able to take that and then create the vision of not only what he knew would work well in a museum, but what all the different people of Bainbridge Island thought. And Joan, I'm not sure if you're close, but if you're not, I'll mention your name and you can come up and get your certificate. And Rick Chandler really did quite a lot. He's our facility manager, but he was able to transition into our project manager for this whole 2-year grant, which also meant he had to keep track of over $200,000 worth of funds that came from the Heritage Resource Center to create the different phases that we were talking about. And Rick is just, he put everything together so well and did a lot of the work himself, built the actual stands in there for all the different vitrines. So Rick, I'd like to recognize you, and I'm not sure, again, if you're last but not least, Hank Helm is our administrative assistant bookkeeper, and he did all the things behind the scenes. We couldn't have done it without your organizational skills. So thank you. And he's also a photographer today.
He's working today.
So again, thanks to all the staff.
No, go ahead.
Well, one of the things Bernie was saying is because we moved downtown, what's happened is we're right off the ferry now, and we've gotten a huge amount from other countries and a huge amount of people, just visitors coming, whereas before when we were at Strawberry Hill, it was really hard for people to get up there, especially on weekends when there's no bus service. So this was one of the most wonderful things, is to be able to, in the first phase of this whole project, move down.
That was one of the big reasons to be here, to be more accessible, more apparent. We almost have 700 members now. And as Teresa was saying, and just the specifics, just in August alone, with the museum mostly closed down, we had over 400 visitors, 11 countries represented, 28 states, just in 1 month, without really the glory of this exhibit here. So, but it's phenomenal.
And then the other thing that was kind of interesting is, as we were planning this whole ribbon cutting ceremony, one of our docents, Reed Hansen, happened to say to Lorraine, he says, you know, at home I've got the original scissors that cut the ribbon on the Agate Pass Bridge in 1949. Would you like to use it? I said, oh my God, you know, what a treasure. So with that, I'd like to show you that scissors. And
they're solid gold.
They were spray painted. They were spray painted. So, and that's the wonderful thing about working in a historical museum is the authentic items. I mean, it's almost magical when you see them, and even this old school bell was used by many school marms. So with that in mind, would you like to hand that to our two representatives and our...
Can you grab either end?
Careful.
Yep, I'll stay that kind of thing. So that has modernized.
Easy walk.
Yeah.
So I want to make people get down there.
There's cake and coffee and so on, but in the gallery, no cake or coffee or no food. So you can either have your cake before you go in or after, or both times. But at least not in the...
The